Royalty having gone 6-0 in the group stage yesterday, and actually got second in low ink last month. So up there with Inkbound as well. Both teams back in low ink once again, looking to try and swipe the win. However, for the time being, we have Last Squid Standing and Inkbound opening it up for us. Keon, take a look at these comps. A lot ahead it.
Yeah, heavy-headed duel action between Kiko and the member of the Last Squid Standing. But the interesting thing that I've seen right away from Last Squid Standing stuff is a double cooler comp, which I feel like I haven't seen enough of, but I feel like it's one of those compositions where, hey, I feel like it should get a little bit more popular than it stands, but I get why teams aren't running it. But the eyes I have on right now is on Inkbound. They have a decap player that is readily available. Again, very popular weapon that we've seen in recent times. Gonna be curious to see how this all works out. Last Squid Standing has the first zone stab.
Yeah, Last Squid Standing is in a really good position here for follow-up. You could see Ceiling was kind of just waiting for that jump in there to get settled in. Crab Tank coming out from Gogeta, though, looking to try to clear the space, but not really a lot of paint going down on the zone Keon, and that's 3 members down on Inkbound.
Yeah, 3 members already down on Inkbound, and I'm wondering where the response was going to be from Inkbound. They want to continue their run, but it looks like, well, 1 Zuka shot is enough to do the trick, as that's a double there. Tetris is going to be able to take out twice, and now Inkbound down 21 points from main, but getting their first split started. They're going to try to see if they can return fire against what Last Squid Standing did to them.
Yeah, as the stars align, Keon, Tetra kind of closing out that delayed wipe for Last Squid Standing. Now Inkbound having Crab Tank for Gogeta again here, the penalty being gone. A lot of purple down on that middle section there. You can see Larry and Tetra trying to poke up on that elbow side on the ramp. They want to try to make a little bit more contact, but they are playing it really safe here. Definitely using Trizuka and the Crab Tank to their favor. They want to play at max range here, especially now with only a few seconds left on the timer. They're in a great position to follow up. Ceiling, though, with the Trizuka of their own, taking out Tetra in the process, taking out Larry too. Only 12 seconds left though. Do they have enough time to try to follow up and take Kiko here? But not if they can't pincer in together. But it might just be not I just thought maybe it might be enough there. They delayed the timer for just a second, just a moment, but still no dice there. That's going to be Inkbound actually coming in to throw the first punch.
We gotta give major props to Ceiling, though, trying to at least give Last Squid Standing a chance to fight back there with not only just the Zuka shot that lands, but also a nice little carbon flick, but there just wasn't enough power to get back to the zone and get the retake there. And what we saw there is basically, we just gotta get ourselves warmed up there from Inkbound. Yeah, you're down a huge deficit, but it didn't really rattle them at all, and I love that they kept that mental fortitude, and they realized, all right, we do have a lot of pain that we had in our squad. There's no reason to panic just yet. Still got to play it out. There was plenty of time left on the clock, and Inkbound was able to take that one home.
Yeah, but also you could tell that in that moment where Ceiling had the Trizuka out, they immediately changed their attention to objective as soon as that timer went below 20 seconds. They had 2 Zuka shots left in their arsenal after the first one when they turned around to face the zone. Were able to get a point-blank shot on Tetra, don't get me wrong. That was phenomenal and definitely in their favor there for Last Squid Standing. However, that was another shot wasted and not utilized on the zone to even get any more painting power on the zone, because another teammate was trying to get in there and help Ceiling follow up, but got taken down by Kiko in the process, who was just at a very comfortable position with their heavy edit in the center zone. So definitely well played by Inkbound. Solid foothold, not overextending themselves when they did get a hold of the zone, and that's exactly how you want to play it. But when you go in now into Rainmaker Humpback Pump Track, so this is Last Squid Standing's counter pick. They know that Inkbound can play the long game and take position and take hold very, they can execute taking a position very well. So Last Squid Standing wants to play hard and they want to play fast, so Rainmaker is definitely going to be a good choice for response.
And to go off your previous point about wanting to play fast and trying to get the first punch, we saw right away they were not wasting any time getting that objective in Hagglefish zones right out of the gate. So with the way this map kind of shapes out, with Humpback Pump Track Rainmaker being very quick pushes and 1 second slow out of control, I actually do like this kind of pick in theory and on paper for Last Squid Standing if they wanted to play that same style. So I'm gonna be intrigued to see how this all plays out as we're loaded into this one. Gonna keep that same double cooler comp. No surprise there, it helps aid to the aggression. Here's a Dread Ringer in the mix there with the Reap Slider. A little surprised by that choice, but it may actually work.
Yeah, I don't think Dread. I definitely think Dread will have a better time here than the Decavitator will. That's Tetra, who was playing the Decavitator last time for Inkbound, switching out to the Dreadbringer. With still having the Crab tank online though, good solid positions to take with Crab here already with opening statements. We have Koki opening up with that killer whale there, not really causing too much of a disturbance though. Inkbound having a really subtle foothold on mid. That's Gogeta popping that Crab tank as well. You can see that everybody for Last Squid Standing is kind of spread out, and as the crow flies, that is a wipeout for Inkbound. First checkpoint is performed.
That, as the crow flies, is certainly one way to put it. I wonder if there was just a lone bomb that basically took out everybody there, because that wipeout almost happened near instantaneously, and it led to such a quick advantage for Inkbound. Last Squid Standing is gonna be the one quickly in that deficit. I know it's one of those moments where, okay, it happened so quick you didn't realize what was going on. But at least for them, there weren't any staggered respawns. They were able to quickly rebound back. But that first checkpoint is already cashed in for Inkbound.
Yeah, and Sealing here with a great Trizuka to try to follow up. That is going to be at the 58 mark currently as it stands, and actually Sealing going in for the cooler. That is one thing. If you have water cooler talk right now, Keon, that is cause and means for the Slayer of the team to try to follow up and go and take you down and disband the cooler talk as a boss whale in the office. And that's exactly what the Sealing was able to do. That gives Gogeta a chance to set up with that Crab tank. That gives Kiko the opportunity to pick up the Rainmaker here. And once again, we have Inkbound on the follow-up past that first checkpoint. There's a lot of open space to work with, Keon, and especially with the Trizuka to follow up, this could look really detrimental for Last Squid Standing.
And for Last Squid Standing, they don't need to panic right now. They already took two members out. That's a heavy edit. That's Tetra down with the Dreadbringer. So they were at least able to hold him off for a second time. And that Rainmaker is picked up, quickly reset, realizing where that Rainmaker stood. It's a great overall play so far. But now you got to figure out when will that first checkpoint come into view. Should be coming up here soon here, Saf, as they are able to take out Larry, who was on that card mode. And now this time, Last Squid Standing, they got the advantage. They got that checkpoint all figured out. There's that core that is available right away, and they're trying to fire a few lob shots to no success. The Rainmaker gets dropped. That's a great response from Last Squid Standing. That also could have been so much worse for them too, defensively, with the way Inkbound was pushing up.
Yeah, and Tetra's in a good spot here with that Dreadbringer. There they go with the Reef Slider, and in the middle of so much crossfire, and somehow surviving and taking two in the process. A great response from Inkbound. That's going to be twice called out there. Not going to be taken down, though, from the members of Last Squid Standing. However, Inkbound has the Rainmaker in their possession now. Only 32 points left on the clock here. I mean, Keon, I thought this was going to be a really quick game, but it seems like Inkbound is really taking their time with trying to play this one. They keep finding themselves in a delayed wipe scenario, both teams just at different times. But here's Tetra once again following up that Reslider. You can see Sealing trying to follow up, putting an end to Tetra's reign and terror. That's Last Squid Standing with the Rainmaker in hand. I mean, it's kind of a tit-for-tat match here.
This is pretty back and forth, and we know it, and you exactly noted it there too. There were several times where we feel like, all right, Inkbound should have that advantage, able to push up forward, but Last Squid Standing's defense is basically on point, and Sealing's just having a set so far, even with the team being down. Sealing's doing all they could to keep their team up ahead, and try to stay in this one. With a double that was cashed in from Sealing earlier, it's going to be the same situation, so they're going to have to figure out how to convert, but that wipeout is going to have other ideas there, Sap, and there should be way more points on the board right now. Kiko's going to be the one putting up forward. Two members did go down in that process. Tetra's already there. Again, 3 down. It's, again, a very strong hold from Last Squid Standing, but with the problem here, that 13-point swing, that's a really stellar push and a stellar point cap for them. Might be a little bit more tricky, but there's still time left on the clock.
Yeah, and I think them trying to follow up on the left-hand side, I'm not sure if this is going to be advantageous for Last Squid Standing. Gogeta already going to take this opportunity. Can I go in for the flank? They opt not to, because there is eyes on the back of Last Squid Standing's heads here. All 3 members that are trying to push up and cause some pressure are on this right-hand elbow side. That is Gogeta getting taken down by the Rainmaker shot. Tetra coming in once again with the Rig Slider, but guard as the Rainmaker shot takes them down. And that is an open access point there for Twice to try to get through. They utilize the wall to their advantage, and that is the lead flip. Oh my goodness, shout out to player 5. That is the uninkable wall in the spawn of Inkbound.
Yeah, and now it's overtime, and this is one of the problems with Humpback Rainmaker is these lead changes can happen so quick if you lose out on these advantages, and that's exactly what we saw right there. The last chance opportunity for last Squid Standing to give themselves a push, and boy howdy, Sav, they took full advantage of this one. We're going to game 3.
Yeah, that is game 3, and Keon, that is putting Inkbound on the counter pick. So that means that because Inkbound won Splat Zones, for those of you that might not understand how counter picking works, we don't know. We don't know. We just like to let you know.
Yep.
But for those of you that don't understand, so now that Inkbound is on the counter pick side, it means that they cannot pick Splat Zones because they won on Splat Zones previously. So they can pick Rainmaker again, so Rainmaker could be played again, but however, they also have to pick between Tower and Clam Blitz.
And I think Rainmaker, theoretically, they could go back to another Rainmaker map of their choosing if they chose to do so, which obviously we are seeing the quick replay here as well, with, again, the rest of Last Squid Standing doing their part to clear out everybody else. And I saw Tetra, by the way, earlier on that restart, excuse me, pretty much run themselves towards the wall. It was pretty much an easy pick on top of it, and now you had to hope that Last Squid Standing, they were able to stagger out the rest of Inkbound so the respawns don't favor them. That's how it all played out by the end of it. 6 points remain was ultimately the final score. And Saf, your thoughts on Crab Lake Capital Clam Blitz being the counter pick for Inkbound? If there are any.
I don't know if I understand it. but it seems that Inkbound understands it because they were the first ones to be readied up in the lobby, and it seems that Last Squid Standing is actually found pondering what they want to do with their comp on this chain. So definitely Last Squid Standing is very puzzled at the counter pick here. As for Inkbound though, it seems to me that they're like we said before, they're very good at holding positions. Mm-hmm. And so they're very skilled at doing that, and I think especially with someone like Tetra who can kind of swing between the Dreadringer and the Decavitator and have a really good time with that. I think that's going to be really crucial for them to try to utilize in this one. And especially maybe if they want to switch to that decav with that bubble as well, is kind of my thinking.
I feel like this could be one of those maps where we shouldn't be surprised if Tetra goes back to that mid decaf. It's such a stellar option in Crab Lake Clams. Though I'm intrigued by the map mode, but I feel like with the way, as you mentioned before, Inkbound being able to hold position, looking to play for that long game that has been alluded to before, so this probably was my original train of thought. So, of course, with Last Squid Standing being a little intrigued by this counterpick, they're going to switch over to the pencil, the much maligned pencil in certain circles. Hello, Hydra. How are you doing there from Inkbound? That's what Kiko's going to be dishing out.
Okay, so they are both like, all marbles on the table, let's just try to do what we can here. So that's going to be Pencil and Hydra are going to be what can we do here to have fun with it. Tetra's sticking with that Dreadringer as well. So Reef Slider going to be a good option to try to get up on that ramp and securely fasten yourself into the basket area of your opponent. That's 2 members down, though, already on Last Squid Standing. Inkbound trying to make their way and infiltrate into the center stage here, but that's still going to be a quick respawn time from Last Squid Standing, especially with Koki on that 52 gal. It seems like the displacement tools of the Killer Whale have been really useful for Last Squid Standing.
Yeah, but right now they're hoping to wait on that just a little bit more. But we did see just the 3 down there from Last Squid Standing. But to your point, the displacement with Kogi on that 52 gal, looking to try to displace the rest of the group. The next step they have to solve though is how do you deal with Inkbound's movement. That's gonna be the interesting thing that they're gonna have to deal with there, as they already got that first push in, start on the 53 points remaining. And so far, though, they're keeping this push. They still keep this basket open for all it's worth. Gogeta was trying to throw in the climb again at the nick of time. I feel like I've seen that a couple times already in previous tournaments, but this should be the push getting sold out there. 2 members going down, especially the Hydra down as well. 44 points already past the halfway marker. That's a great start for Inkbound.
Yeah, phenomenal start for Inkbound at that, because I mean, it leaves me wondering, we're still at the 100 point for Last Squid Standing. What are we doing here? But look at this, a rush to the finish. That's Koki and Sealing pincering in the splash player on Inkbound, and that's another member of Inkbound going down, but Tetra's going to try to take the trade with them, making it an even fight once again. It just seems like Last Squid Standing gets a really good first punch, but then, I mean, Inkbound is really keen on the response time, and so they kind of just even the playing field immediately there. Look at Koki trying to go up and fight with Gogeta. Maybe not the best the best fighting stance to try to take there. That's Gogeta taking down another player of Last Squid Standing there. So again, Inkbound is good at getting themselves a solid lead and then just holding themselves down on the defensive front.
I do appreciate the effort there to try to fight Gogeta head on with the crab tank, but that may not necessarily been the wisest thing to do. Like, I mean, it's brave. We'll give them that. It's super brave there as well, but ultimately just going down for their efforts on top of it, as we do get to see that buoy bomb being used. The thing I'm usually that I was about to note there to look out for was the buoy bomb place, I imagine, will be used to help support pushes, especially trying to clear out that space for the basket to be cashed in. They're going to have to wait on that just a little bit more, though, as we're going to get the first push in from Last Squid Saint. Twice is going to be the one to get that one through, as Cotton's also throwing in some extra power clams. Now, small clams, as they are able to cut this deficit down by just a little bit more. Twice's jump is actually just a bit short there, as that power clam should be disappearing there soon. I think that was the pre-planned back at basket, if I'm not mistaken. No, they just spawned one, actually, is what that was. So that's what they ended up seeing. Somehow saving it, though. They're going to have to wait on this for a little bit longer, but hey, Saf, they cut that deficit down. So it's a good response from the Last Squid Saint. It gives them a little bit more breathing room.
Yeah, and the reason for that deficit to diminishing is because of ceiling, because that Trizuka that they had before that basket pop was, in fact, a triple on Inkbound. So down to the 56 mark. Thank you, and thank you so much, Ceiling. We salute you from Last Squid Standing. But still a little bit more to try to make up. That's 12 more points that they have to make up to try and even get close to trying to change the lead. We only have a minute and some change left. That's Killer Whale coming out, and 2 members down on the side of Inkbound. So looking good for an opening push for Last Squid Standing, but you have Koki going down, and actually you have Kiko standing on top with the Hydra Splatling, and you don't have a whole lot of range to really work with to try to get them out of there. So play it carefully, play it safe. You have Ceiling trying to launch those Trizuka shots again, not really deterring Tetra from any sort of defensive maneuvering though. So really gotta play this one carefully, Keon.
And the thing that Inkbound has done well is trying to fall off the long term. But how long can you hold this one out for? Because Last Squid Standing, you know that they're going to be playing aggressively across the board. They take 3 members out. It's delayed 3, I believe, on top. And now you're going to be seeing some movement up front with everybody clearing everybody out. I think Ceiling was the one there as well to clear out members from the lead change right out of the gate. And now more members getting staggered out big time. Yes, it was 3 down for Inkbound, 2 down for Last Squid Standing, but Twice is going to try to jump in and at least get a few more clams over there as well. Saf, they cut this on 26 points remaining. Already the lead changes hands. Inkbound does have another chance left.
Yeah, Inkbound's got another chance left as we enter the overtime clock. That is Larry getting taken down as they had Trizuka in their hands. That's absolutely huge. Not only that, they have the power clam to boot, and that's Gogeta pushing up as well. That's 2 members down on Last Squid Standing here, but Ceiling trying to defend the power clam, which is exactly what they had to do, because you could see that there was a puddle of a member from Inkbound trying to go in and get that power clam at the last moment. Ceiling being the final defender. That's Last Squid Standing moving on to the next round.
How about Ceiling so far? Great awareness.
For real.
Yeah, Ceiling had a great set all on their own. Of course, rest of Last Squid Saint knew the assignment, but that was such a phenomenal performance, not just from the previous maps, this map especially. Great awareness, realizing, right, that's the last power clam that's available. The other thing that also hurt Inkbound on that last attempt to push, one of the power clams, I believe it was the Hydra player, that power clam was dropped right around the railing, which makes it much more difficult to get to, so they had to just scramble at the last moment up, likely for that one power clam that Singh was able to defend. And that's kind of how things go sometimes, or as your favorite phrase goes, how the cookie crumbles for Inkbound. And hey, Last Squid Saint though, 2-1 set victory. It's very stellar, and Inkbound will have to make the run back in the losers bracket.
Yeah, well, when you have a captain like Ceiling being the captain for Last Squid Standing, I mean, and you have the results to follow it up, like if you have good leadership, then like you're bound for success. And I think it's funny to me because I noticed Ceiling's title was like mild middle manager, and I was like, buddy, middle management doesn't pull moves like you were just doing with triple Inkzuka, and then getting the points down, like literally clearing the gap, bridging the gap between you and your opponent in points with clams. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not some middle management type move. That's like executive type beat. And Actually, something I want to note, Keon. I believe Last Squid Standing actually has some pretty significant results here, including they were first in their Division 8A in season 15 of Ludi. So the most recent Ludi season, they have really decent results. So seeing them here in the top of or not in the top of Alpha Bracket, well, I guess kind of Alpha Bracket's the top. That's what I think in my brain. You're on the winner's side. Alpha Bracket is in the winner's circle, and so. Last Squid Standing, like, it's no surprise that they're here, and especially having somebody like